Thank you, everyone. Up next is Syeda Saima Bukhari from the University of Jeddah. And Syeda Saima Bukhari is currently working at the ELI University of Jeddah, and she would be speaking to us on life skills, developing communicative competence in 21st century skills. Please enjoy the presentation. Thank you.
With you. I would like to say thank you to University of Bahrain as well, and thank you everyone for being part of this session. I am pretty sure that we are going to have a wonderful experience being together. Well, I have brought my research project that I recently conducted in one of the universities in Saudi Arabia. And this project is basically on the idea of enhancing life skills. Well, the topic of the research is developing communicative competence in 21st century learners. And this is all about integrating life skills in a language classroom and teaching the students in a way that they become proficient speakers. Well, this is the overview of the session in front of you, and I'm going to talk about the 4H framework and life skills, and I will enhance the usefulness of the 4H framework and advantages of developing life skill competencies in language learners, integrating different language life skill strategies to enhance language learning. I will be focusing on the strategies that I used in the treatment phase of my research project, and which proved to be very effective and beneficial in a way that the learners really enhance their speaking competence. These two strategies which I focused were hot seating and scenario conversation station. So I will be giving you details on how these strategies were carried out in the treatment phase of my research. Well, there is a common question that is asked from different people, and almost every person gave a different answer. And I'm pretty sure that all the answers had the core content, which actually mentioned that education is for something that is actually needed for the real life. So education is all about enhancing competencies or enhancing abilities which are actually required to deal with the life effectively and proficiently as well. Well, education is actually something that should prepare the students for future, you know, that whether it involves a further study or joining the world of the workplace or becoming an engaged member of society. I think every learner should be prepared for something that is coming up in their real life in future. So in this way, we can say that education is a process that actually enables the learners to take their place in a society in an effective way. They become effective learners, they become effective professionals and effective citizens of a country. Rather, they become effective global citizens, I must say. Well, education that helps young people develop life skill has transformative potential. So education is something which has power. So while educating our learners, I think it is very important to ask ourselves that are our learners able to relate these ideas when they are asked about, are they able to relate their ideas when they're asked about how to keep a job, how to be a better friend, and how to deal with the problems of their lives. Actually, these are the questions which are not asking them to repeat the answer from a content or from a text that they have read recently, but rather this all involves thinking. This is all about how. this is all about deeper analysis of the the situations, or deeper analysis of the scenarios that are there presented to them, or that are there that can be focused for them to that can be focused, and they can then answer for certain things in a way that they are doing a lot of thinking. So actually, it is all about preparing the 21st century learners for the 21st century. I have brought a very interesting video for you, and I hope that you will enjoy watching this video, because this video contains the real elements that I want all of us to focus, being, teachers, and being the 21st century teachers. So let's watch. Well, in relation to teaching in the 21st century, to the 21st century learners, I found a very helpful framework that is called the 4H framework. But before we talk about the 4H framework, let me conclude this point that this video focused a lot of information that was actually linked with the ideas on how to develop a perfect fit. A perfect fit means a person who is actually ready to meet the challenges of the everyday life. So basically, those who are able to understand to understand and use these skills along with their educational qualification, these are the ones who find better place to take advantage of the real opportunities in the world. So actually, developing a perfect fit means we are developing someone who is ready to take challenges, who is good at making connections, and who listens actively, who can build a relationship with confidence and can go along with people and can think creatively and positively as well, and is able to express on view a point of view in a way that is actually leading and convincing. So in this way, we can say that life skills actually develop the abilities for positive and adaptive behaviors, and they enable individuals to deal effectively with the demands and challenges of everyday life. And this is the real purpose of language teaching these days. So in connection to developing a perfect fit, I found the 4H framework very useful and very helpful, because it actually involves the integration of the ideas which are linking all the 4H. And what are these 4H? Head, heart, hand, and health. Basically, 4H is considered as a powerful integration. Means integration of 4H is considered powerful because they can, if we focus these skills and this framework, we are able to enhance the learner's personal competencies. So 4H is all about the personal competence that enables a person to deal effectively and positively with the demands and challenges confronted by that person in every day. Well, let's look at the framework in detail, that it refers to all these skills to be developed actually. So head is all about thinking and managing, and thinking and managing is all about decision making, problem solving, enhancing critical thinking, creative thinking, planning and organizing, using resources very well in a way that they are managed well, and keeping record is also related to head. The second H refers to heart, which is all about socializing and caring. So being cooperative, communicative, and problem solver is actually a core, targeted competence that needs to be developed in learners. So targeted life skills lead to mastery of targeted competencies, basically. And the third H refers to hand, which is all about giving and working. So it involves community services, performing leadership position roles, and contributing towards society in a better way, building teams and retaining teams as well. The fourth H refers to health, which is all about life and being. So living is living is all about managing stress, managing relationships, and being is all about managing self-esteem and becoming becoming responsible and managing own feelings in different situations and different issues that arise in everyday life. So overall, we can say that the mission of 4H is empowering youth to reach their full potential, working and learning in partnership with the caring adults. And who are these caring adults? These caring adults are the teachers who teach them every day. What are the benefits of integrating life skills in language teaching? There are a lot of benefits, and a few are there in front of you. These skills actually enable learners to become proficient and develop confidence and develop social competence. Their analytical skills, critical thinking, and problem-solving skills are enhanced. These skills also assist in development of coping skills that are essential components of healthy development. These skills develop emotional intelligence, and these are the skills which are required to manage emotions. And these skills promote their communication skills. They are good at decision making. They develop how to negotiate. They develop their negotiating skills, and they learn how to negotiate. They learn how to manage with stress, and how to manage emotions in different situations. So basically, life skills play magic, and they are very much needed in a classroom, in a language classroom. Actually, they need to be practiced in a language classroom. So being a researcher, actually, I needed to focus on some strategies to develop life skills competence in my language learners. And basically, I focused on some strategies which were commonly used, or rather generally used by most of the teachers. And I wanted them to rate some of the skills which they used a lot and a lot of time, which proved to be beneficial. And I found a few highly rated strategies which are listed here on this slide. So a few of them were, the top rated ones were role plays, game simulation, and class discussion, situational analysis, and debates or the discussion forums. While investigating the fruitful or the beneficial strategies, I found out that the teachers basically rated these strategies while keeping different reasons in mind, and they actually quoted the reasons that why they chose these strategies as the best strategies, and they frequently use them because these are very much, I must say, very much focused strategies. They actually bring students close to the task, and they perform well. These strategies developed in them the perspective thinking, and these strategies actually engaged them in learning in a way that they were brilliant in doing tasks. And some of them said that the learners, while playing roles and while doing the debate and the discussion forum, were very, very, very positive, and they were actually engaged in a high level of critical thinking process. So somehow I can say that all of these strategies were really beneficial for most of them. That's why they rated them as highly used and highly effective strategies. And I collect top 5 of them. Then I once again checked for the ones which were the top 2, and I wanted them to be integrated in my, in a way that was good for my learners as well. So basically, I had floated a survey for the collection of these strategies, which was a Likert scale questionnaire or survey, and it was divided into 2 major sections. The first section was actually covering all the techniques which were mainly, focusing the teacher-student interaction. And the second section investigated the techniques which focused the student-to-student interaction. There were 16 items in total, and the scale that I used in the survey was from extremely effective to not effective, not at all effective. So the consistency of the items was checked, and the reliability was also checked, and the survey was found highly reliable. After the survey phase, I had filtered 2 strategies which were the top rated strategies, and one of them was role play. So I had to think of something which was really interesting for my learners. So I finally chose hot seating, and this hot seating was a technique or a strategy which I found very, very useful in my class. So basically, in this in this phase of the study, the learners were actually tested twice. They were pre-tested and they were post-tested for their speaking skills. In the pre-test, they were tested for their existing level of English language, and they were post-tested after the treatment phase, and these tests were conducted to check the differences as well. I wanted to see whether my learners had improved in certain areas that I specifically was very much interested in for them. And I was very much interested in the enhancement of those areas, specifically when it comes to language teaching. There are certain points where a teacher feels like these points should be worked out and these areas should be enhanced. So I had a rubric that I used for the enhancement of those areas, and I recorded their score in a way that was later used for finding a difference between the pre and the post test stages. Well, coming back to the strategy that I used as a kind of best strategy, I would say, in my class, because it was found on the toppest, on the top of the list, and all the teachers had mentioned that they used a lot of times the role plays in class. So I thought of bringing the role play in a different way that everyone enjoys it and everyone gets interested in it, because it has a different name. So its name was hot seating, where I had actually made a selection of piece of text, I would say. So this text was from their course book, and it was all about Carol Knox, where a student had to take the role of Carol. So the students were given certain instructions which were supposed to be followed very strictly. They did this task in a group, and one student had to take the role of Carol. The others were asked to brainstorm questions. They had to prepare questions which were not in notice of Carol. So the activity went like this. Student in the hot seat to present the character's attitude and perspectives, answered in the same manner as well. So they were given the self-preparation time, where actually everyone was engaged in a task in a way that they were given the division of recording the questions, or recording the answers, or preparing the sheet, and preparing some notes. So everyone had a different task in the group. Well, there was no limit given to the learners while preparing the questions, but they knew that they had a time limit, so they could possibly create 6 to 7 questions in each session. They brainstormed multiple questions, and further they were able to analyze the answers according to the questions asked from Carol. Basically, this idea actually was a kind of leading idea, in a way that the learners didn't have to find the answers from the text. They had to figure out the answers by themselves, or they had to figure out the questions by themselves, because this was nothing given in the content. This was all about guessing the personality, guessing the real essence of the personality, guessing the attitude of Carol by just reading that text, which was all about her. But that text didn't mention her attitudes or her perspective, only mentioned her achievements and her overall, kind of personality. So during the test, the scores were recorded, and they were kept safe for a later use. The second strategy that I used was scenario stations, where learners had to work on different stations which were labeled with different themes. And actually I had worked out for a few weeks, finding out scenarios and situations which are really good and which were actually I would say appropriate according to the culture and according to the values of the you know, the country. So I will say that again, these situations were not normal. These were all about real life. These were not the situations from the you know, the routine text, but rather some situations were about emergency cases. Someone is breathless. Someone is in need of help. Someone needs first aid, and there are some problems which actually need to be answered in a way that is very wise and very wise and very effective. So the learners had to actually involve their reasoning, and a lot of thinking took place in the class. That it amazed me as a teacher that they did excellently, and they did perform outstandingly, I must say. So some of the students came up with the analysis that was beyond my expectations. So after analyzing the situation, they were able to make decisions, and they were able to suggest solutions to those problems as well. So I was really amazed to see their responses and their engagement in the task, and the way they were doing. Everything was natural, and everything was so fluent in the class that I felt like the language was flowing in a natural way. So this activity was also recorded. Their performance was recorded, and later their pre and post tests were analyzed. This is the table that shows the data analysis, and basically it shows the level of significance. Actually, I compared the pre and post test grades, and I found a high level of significance in all the results. And basically it shows that they enhanced their understanding. There was a great improvement in overall analysis, reflective analysis, that they actually I would say that they actually showcased their evaluation and their analytical skills through language that they were using. And there was a great difference that I found in their scores that were on the area of explaining inferences. And they concluded all the situations and the problems in a way that were really effective. So probably the treatment phase was effective, and it went very well. They were engaged in different scenario conversation themes, and they were engaged in tasks in a way that were effective. And this treatment phase actually polished their level of reasoning, their critical thinking, and they actually became the real thinkers. Well, overall, I was kind of excited towards the end of this test or this analysis, because it showed me a great difference. I know usually researchers, when they find differences, they feel like somehow the treatment went successful. Well, this is to conclude that core competencies can be developed very well by using life skill strategies, and the life skill strategies are all about bringing the real life situations and real life, in classroom, real life scenarios, I would say. or let the students live the life of others, let the student imagine the life of other, or let the student face the kind of situation that can develop in that person, that kind of thinking which is really required. So basically I found that they were processing thoughts, and they were able to compare evidences, they evaluated very well, they were able to make sensible decisions, and they were processing their critical thinking. High level of concentration was found in them, and they used very well verbal skills to organize ideas, and they were very, very interactive. They were highly engaged in group settings, and they could express their thoughts very clearly. They were communicative, and they were highly positive while working in the groups. So they learned and developed positive relationships as well. This was actually needed, and this was much needed in the classroom because these were the tasks which could not be done or fulfilled without their level of engagement and their positive behavior towards the task. Well, I would conclude by saying this, that life skills help individuals to find new ways of thinking and problem solving, self-management, and performing different roles. Life skills also enable individuals to recognize the impact of their action and learn to take responsibility of what they do or what they say. They build confidence and enhance speaking skills. They experience, the learners experience group collaboration and peer collaboration, which is very helpful for their life in future as well. And they are able to develop a greater sense of self-awareness, and they develop the courage of appreciation, courage of appreciating others. You know, sometimes a person is reluctant in showing appreciation. So I found the learners very much engaged in and very much enthusiastic during the group collaboration, group work, and they were highly appreciative towards others as well. Life skills also develop analytical skills, and learners can make decisions. They can understand how to make certain choices inside and outside the classroom. So the real purpose was to build the skills which are actually required outside the classroom. So by bringing such characters like Carol, and bringing such situations like a person is dying, or person is breathless, or something sudden has happened to someone, or the salaries and job issues, someone is hired or fired, or someone needs to make decisions on money matters. So these kind of situations were all linked with the life that is led by a person in a real way. So basically, these strategies proved very effective for my learners, and this was proved through the scores that they got in the language, that they had developed throughout the phase of treatment and afterwards as well. So the way that they spoke, and the way that they interacted, the way that they articulated their ideas, the way that they presented, and the way that they communicated, and the way that they showed their reasonings, everything was gradually improved and gradually polished and gradually increased in a way that amazed me as a teacher as well. Well, overall, it was an exciting experience with my learners, and I hope that it's going to be exciting for you as well if you apply in class in a different way, in a different context. And I wish you all the best for your research projects that you have in your mind. Well, these are the references of my work, and thank you once again. Thank you so much for being here, for being a good listener and staying with me for the whole of the session. I would say that the limits of possible can only be defined by going beyond them into the impossible. For me, these learners were challenging, and I accepted the challenge, and I made a difference in their lives as well. When I worked with them and they worked with me, I found a positive change in them. And by bringing this change, I thought and I found that I had done something good for them, and I had done something good for the future of our global community. Thank you so much. Take care and stay blessed and stay happy.
Thank you very much, Syeda Saima. And you certainly have enriched us with amazing presentation, very relevant and very pertinent to what we are currently doing, life skills, developing communicative competence in 21st century learners. Dear friends, there is a poll up on the screen for you. I'm sure that Syeda would appreciate your feedback, so please take a couple of seconds just to answer those questions. There are only 3 questions up there. Thank you very much for doing that.